So beautiful. So I have a question, Mirabai, for you. How do we do beloved community, Sangha, with people that don't feel safe or are different, that, I mean, in this, how do I say it? There's a movement of anti-compassion right now.
I've noticed.
Yes. So how do we do it? What do we do with?
Right, and it's being sanctioned and normalized and bypassed and stepped around like poop in the path. I don't know. I think it's been growing and burgeoning for a long time in plain sight, but now it's about to get worse, maybe way worse, and I don't think we know yet. I mean, there are probably people in this room who do know. I don't know. But I do feel willing to listen to people who have those views, those anti-compassion views, because I don't know how else to understand and respond to that growing normalization of what you call anti-compassion unless I really am willing to listen and understand it and pay attention and be curious about it. So I'm going to start there, Greta. I don't know what else to say. What do you think?
It's good. I feel lost, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I feel lost.
But I believe in us. I believe that we can do it together. You said it. We can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And we talked about this with Amy at dinner, that's my only hope is that if I can't figure out how to repair the busted gizmo, there's going to be someone in the joint who knows what to do. And there's going to be someone who makes really good chicken pozole, and they'll bring that. And there'll be somebody else who will play the perfect piece of music to open and lift and shift hearts. And they'll bring the music.
Gustavo,
por ejemplo.
well, you're going to have a big job to do for us. Heal the world, please, okay?
So it's
open the hearts.
In Jewish mystical wisdom, the teaching of Tikkun Olam. How many people are familiar with Tikkun Olam? The repairing of the world. Olam is world. Tikkun is mend. The idea is that when God created all that is, everything, God condensed God's self into a tiny, single, dense point. And it was so radiant and so intense, that divine condensation, that radiance, really, that divine radiance, that it shattered the vessel that it was contained in. And that created all that is, all the darkness and all the light, all the good and all the evil. And that humans were created to restore the vessel to wholeness. I have a friend who's a Kabbalist. I said, why did it break? Why didn't God know what God was doing? And she said, well, it's not like they dropped the vessel and they went, oops, and it broke. It's all part of the plan.
Yeah. I had one rabbi say, because we're Jewish, there was an accident.
And so here we are to clean up the mess.
Yes.
And the idea is that each of us is imprinted with exactly what is ours to do. It's written into our souls. And that sometimes it takes an entire lifetime to decode it, but we all not only have the blueprint for what is ours to bring to this mess and to restore wholeness, but we are given the exact skills that we need to do it. And the trick is that what is yours to do is probably hiding in plain sight. Just in case you're looking, it's probably not, the example I use is the Berrigan family, the extended Jonah House family in Baltimore, who goes to Washington, D.C. every week and chains themselves to the gates of the Pentagon. Sometimes they bring blood that they've had drawn and pour it on the ground as symbolic, that we shall study, that we turn our swords into plowshares and study war no more, from Isaiah. And I look at them and I go, God, I could never hope to measure up to that level of commitment and activism. Or you over there, Amy Brenneman, who spends your life, dedicated to women's reproductive rights and literally walking, from through the neighborhoods and knocking on people's doors and listening to them. And, and I think there's something wrong with me. I'm not that kind of activist. But now, little by little, I'm realizing that my words are my offering. My books, sometimes when I'm speaking, maybe not so much tonight, but sometimes. And so each of you have the thing that is yours to do. And the hint, and then I'll stop talking, is it's probably something you love to do and are good at. And isn't that a relief?
And yes, beautiful. And I think also what's important to be said is it's really about not vilifying anyone. Like that really, we have to just commit to that. Like we can be righteously angry, right, Jen? Like we can be, which means boundaries. Like, no, that's not okay. You can't behave that way. That's what people end up, people get put in prison for consequences. We can have boundaries, but we don't vilify. If I can sit with someone who killed his wife as someone who lived in an abusive marriage and love that person, then we can love anybody. I'm telling you, because people are able to change. I sit with a man who has a swastika tattooed on his bald head, and he cries in remorse and cannot wait till he can get that taken off his head. He's never going to get, this person is, unfortunately, will probably never get out of prison for the crimes he committed, but he is the picture of contrition, of remorse. He sits with all the men of color and just begs their forgiveness for the man that he was. He was a Hell's Angel. He caused a lot of pain and suffering in his life. But now he is not that man. So anybody can change and transform.
And nobody is outside the circle of belonging, as Father G says.
Absolutely.
You've referenced Greg Boyle a couple of times, and he has a new book out. Has anyone seen it? Cherished Belonging. It just came out last week. It's really good. Cherished Belonging. It's exactly that. Not only not vilifying, but not othering anyone ever.
Right. Amen, amen. Amen, amen.